Maybe I'm better off not remembering the past. A lot has happened back in the day in my life. It's like a lot of y'alls, that's why you're in this community, that's why you're in this circle, that's why you're in this congregation. This congregation of like-minded people. A congregation of neurodivergents or just like-minded people, to put it simply. Sometimes I think to myself, why, and also ask myself, why do I still remember these things? My traumatic past, the good times I had and all that stuff, etc. And then compared to now, where it's just difficult. You compare and contrast, juxtapose. It's a huge difference. It's a night and day difference. It's a different dynamic. Even though I did have some good times happening back in the day, I also had some horrible bad times. One, those that led into trauma. Some that led into trauma. And when it leads into trauma, obviously, off the jump, it's bad. It's harmful. It's deteriorating. It's taxing. It takes a toll on you. You might never go past it. It affects your future. You become fearful. You become affected. You become a recluse. You become solitary. You become lonely. You prefer to be by your lonesome. You prefer to be a lone wolf. Prefer to just have peace, like myself for the most part. Sometimes it just saddens me, it makes me a little teary-eyed and a little emotional when I compare how things are for me compared to my past, obviously the good times, the good parts, not the bad ones, which goes to show, the title of this video. Maybe I'm better off not remembering the past. Maybe it's better to just be in the moment, stick in the moment, just to be in the here and now, leave out the past. What has happened, let bygones be bygones. What's in the past stays in the past. It's like what that guy John, I think, from Red Dead Redemption 2, he said, the past is in the past. We left that behind us, or something like that, When his son wanted to know what happened to Arthur Morgan or something, what's his correlation with Arthur and all that. And then John didn't want to talk about it, so that's what he said, The past is in the past. I think that falling out with one another or something. I didn't play the game, so I don't know. Something along those lines. But yeah, if I forgot the past, if I did not remember, maybe I would have been at peace. Maybe it would have been a lot better for me. Maybe I would have not felt the baggage, the burden of feeling like that, of remembering the past and then comparing it to now. I will just be realistic, be in the here and now. I will not even dwell on what has happened. There's no use crying over spilled milk, but then That's how I am. That's how I'm born. I was born emotional. I was born empathetic, intuitive, sensitive. So these things are hand in hand, pretty much. These things are coupled together. These things are paired together. Where you want to look back into the past, whether good or bad, maybe you can dissect, that rhymes. You can dissect the good from the bad, and you can dissect the bad from the good. And then you just kind of fantasize about it. You just kind of wallow in it. You stew in it for a while, just to retreat, just to kick back, just to relax a bit. Maybe play some calming music, just to help ease your mind, just to boost the mood or something, make it feel more immersive within your own head, within your own cerebrum, your cerebral cortex or whatever, right? Or if you have your own copes and fixes and vices, you can go to those, your outlets. But everyone's is different, right? Yeah. And just like a lot of us do, I also obviously from time to time I dwell on my past. Some do it more than others, some do it less than others. But for me nowadays I've been doing it less, because I keep training my mind. I keep telling myself, rightfully so, because it's the only way forward, right? It used to be the 5 pillars of my brain: practical, logical, rational, idealistic, and realistic. There's no use crying over spilled milk, remember that. So you don't gotta necessarily waste time and dwell on the past. It's not like you have a time machine where you can travel back in the past and correct those mistakes and what has happened. But even then, some mistakes define you, some mistakes build character. And do you really want to change those things? Because we also get stronger and we learn from our mistakes. That's why we make mistakes, so we can learn and improve and get stronger. So do you want to go back in the past and change those mistakes, right those mistakes, so that the things you knew in the future would not have been grasped by you, would not have been mastered by you? Would you rather not have been able to master those skill sets that you have in the future, because those mistakes in the past that has contributed to you mastering those skills was removed and corrected? No mistakes, therefore no mastery. Because mastery takes a lot of mistakes, I guess that's just the law of life, law of the universe, That's why people fail many times and eventually get better, or they just fail and then, sadly it doesn't work out, and then it's not meant to be. But for me personally, would I travel back in time to correct the mistakes? Maybe some, not everything, because it's non-realistic, It's not realistic to correct every single mistake, because some mistakes actually define you. Some mistakes build character. Some mistakes lead to improvements, enhancements, and mastery. Betterment of your character, betterment of your individuality, betterment of your traits, your attributions, your attributes. All those things, most of them come from mistakes. Without them, you wouldn't be the person that you are today, most likely. And the good times, well, they're just there to give you a peace of mind, right? So that in the future you can recollect and you can recap and remind yourself of how far you've come, how much you've endured, how much you've overcome, how much you've embraced, I guess. You embrace the good times, you love it, you cherish it, you create memories, memorabilia, memoir with the people around you, with things, events, cartoons, games, movies, amusement parks, all that, Disneyland. So those things are good, but then if you let it be heavy and you let it be burdensome, if you don't offset and balance it, it can really take a toll on you, just like how it does to me sometimes. That's why, like the title of this video mentioned, maybe I'm better off not remembering, because that's how I am, even though I do try to even things out, I try to balance, I try to not make it that deep, I try not to make it that profound, because it's gonna trap me, sometimes your past, if you're not careful, it can trap you. That's why some people are stuck in the past and they can't move on, or they don't want to move on. They're anchored, they have a cinder block tied to their ankles or their wrists, and then they're thrown in the water and they're drowning, they're sinking. So yeah, other than that, it also helps you appreciate life, I guess. Life sucks for the most part, it's difficult and whatnot, it's tough, but it kind of gives you that silver line, I guess. Is that the right word, the right term? Just in the in-between, it's not all that bad, It's not all that bad. There are some things in between the bad that is good, It's necessary, even though it's dark and tough and difficult to embrace, it's difficult to accept, but it's true. That's the truth. Sometimes it happens for a reason. Sometimes it's there for a necessary purpose. And then there are some things that are there, but it's also heartbreaking, It's it's an even playing field. There's bad, there's good, there's happy, there's sad, Just like me, used to have a girl in kindergarten, and then, she really adored me, I really adored her. It was great, a lot of friends, I had a terrible home life, but at least I had a pleasant school life. And then when I was 11 and 12, that was my last chance. That was my final goodbye to have a girl to fantasize about, and yeah, it's just the final farewell. I even dreamt about her, fantasized, that we got, loved. But not make out, just like sat at a bench or something in the park like that, I know I should have gone deeper and to the point where we get behind closed doors and get it down and dirty, right, in the bedroom, I know. But for some reason I didn't fantasize it that way. It's just us sitting in the park, and then she rested her head on my shoulders, on my shoulder, and it was amazing. It was wholesome. I think I was 12 years old, but I met her and got to know her at 11. And she's one of the reasons why I was so happy to go to school, literally. I was so motivated, woke up early, or as early as possible, go to school, and then, we are in the same class. It's perfect. And I also sat beside her in class. Perfect. Same class, sat beside her. You know, it's like the universe is teasing me. What should have been, that girl from kindergarten. We should have been in the same school. Same everything, or at least similar, till the day we die, till the day we say goodbye to each other. Kind of like Westlife, Queen of My Heart, It's a sad song, but it's the message, the lyrics is, the meaning pretty much sums up what I've been through, or at least what I should have been through, with that girl from kindergarten. And all of our tears will be lost in the rain, but if I found my way back, or when I found my way back to your arms again. But until that day, you know who you are, the queen of my heart. And previously, whenever I sing that song, in my head I start to tear up. And now I'm just numb, Now I can sing without tearing up. And yeah, it's like the universe teases me. What should have been, 11 and 12 years old. Sat beside each other, same class, same school, and then after that, graduate, and then now we parted ways. Tragic. So sad. And I also wish I hadn't remembered my traumatic past, all those bad stuff, just leave it. But especially trauma, unfortunately, I can't just forget. Trauma is serious and deep, and it scars, and it leaves a wound in your psyche, in your being. And most of it, most people can't recover from. Some can, some are able to, just like my fear of women, gynophobia or feminophobia. Yeah, I was absolutely fearful of women. And after that, I slowly started to recover, and now thankfully, I'm 100% cured. You know why? One of the reasons is you have to be logical, practical, rational, idealistic, and realistic. The 5 pillars. The 5 cornerstones. Why should you be fearful of like things, or just women, Not all women are cruel. And for those that are fearful of men, not all men are cruel. There's some women are like, I hate men, I'm fearful of all men. Not all men are out to get you, so calm down, I'm not saying that you should be reckless and stupid about it. I'm saying you should be realistic, okay? Especially if you're in the workforce, you have to work with men, or anywhere, interact with men, you won't be fearful. You can be comfortable and all that. You might even get a partner if you want one, Imagine if you're still fearful of men, but you also want a partner. I want a man, I want a husband or a boyfriend, but I'm afraid of them. So how can I go through with this? Well, you have to overcome. You have to face your fears. And that's what it is, Some are curable, some are incurable, some are just etched in your mind, where you can't turn back, it's there. Whether you want to remember it or not, it's still there. It follows you till the end of your days, your last breath, your final days on this planet, in this existence. So yeah, I've covered good things, bad things, sad things, mistakes. But I don't know, I'll let you all decide. Maybe give or take, You just pick your poison. Pick out what resonates. Pick out what suits you and leave the rest behind. But that's all I gotta say. Maybe I'm better off not remembering the past. Who knows? Just to sum it all up. Beyoudoyou, signing out now. Adios.